Lalita Sahasranama. Goddess Lalita is a form of the goddess. You can consider a form of goddess Parvati also. I will show you a picture of Lalita. So you can actually see our WhatsApp group icon. That is also a form of the goddess only. Okay. Can you see the photo? Both the groups can see. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a form of goddess Lalita, somewhat similar if you see to what zoom in a bit. You can also zoom. So yeah, so this is goddess Lalita who is there, somewhat similar to goddess Durga, goddess Parvati only. Very, very auspicious, especially during the Navratri days or Tuesday, Friday also to worship the goddess, chant her names. That's the reason people during all the 10 days they will chant the entire Lalita Sahasranama. Together, if you see, it takes about 20-25 minutes in order to chant the entire Sahasranama. Yeah. So this is about goddess Lalita. She looks this way. Now what about further to talk about Lalita Sahasranama? As the name suggests, now here, if most of you would have heard about Vishnu Sahasranama, right? So Vishnu Sahasranama, Sahasranamam, meaning the thousand names of the Lord. There are different Sahasranamas. Out of that, one is Lalita Sahasranama. Now it is thousand names of the Divine Mother or of Goddess. So of Saraswati few names come, Lakshmi few names comes, Goddess Parvati few names comes. So it's a mixture of various names, thousand names of the goddess. Yeah. Now Lalita Sahasranamam is a part of the Brahmanda Purana. There are different Puranas, 18 main Puranas. Out of that, one Puranam is Brahmanda Purana. Lalita Sahasranama is a part of Brahmanda Purana. Now, Lalita Sahasranama's one special feature, if you note, is now there are various Sahasranamas I told you. Now, in Sahasranamam, thousand names. Now, in few Sahasranamas, if you see, a few names repeat. Of course, the meaning will be different, but the Nama remains the same. But Lalita Sahasranama is the only Sahasranama wherein all the thousand names of the goddess are different. All thousand names of the goddess are different. Not even a single name repeats. Maybe you can also, as we learn, you will come to know. Now, this word Lalita, what is the meaning of this word? Lalita, this word itself originates from a word called lal. Lal or lalana, as we say. Lalana we use in Sanskrit, Hindi also, meaning to play. Play, play. So Lalita actually is a goddess. Literally, it means one who plays. Now, what one who plays in the sense, one who shows her Leela also, and one who tries to bless the world. Now, Lalita Sahasranama is used in the worship of all kinds of goddess. That's the reason I told you it is used for worship during Navratri. So, let it be for goddess Durga, Parvati, Saraswati, Lakshmi, Bhagavati, in general for Bhagavad Seva Puja that we do and so on. So Lalita Sahasranama can be chanted for the worship of any goddess during any puja, especially on a Tuesday, on a Friday, during the Navratri times, during the Purnami times. Yesterday we had the Purnami Tithi that starts in, now we have the Purnami Tithi that is on. Now, if you see Lalita Sahasranama, I told you is a part of Brahmanda Purana. It actually has got three parts. You have the Purva Bhagam, you have the main Sahasranama, and then you have the Uttara Bhagam. Now, when we chant Lalita Sahasranama as a shloka or as a stotram, as a text, we chant the main Sahasranama. That is just the main thousand names of the goddess. But we must know that there is also a prelude to this and also a Uttara Bhagam, also a concluding part. There is also a Phalashruti part also. Yeah. Now, it is said that now Lalita Sahasranamam is actually a conversation between Hayagriva Agastya Samvade. Towards the end of Lalita Sahasranama, this comes. It is a conversation between Bhagavan Hayagriva. Hayagriva, an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, the horse form of the Lord of knowledge, and Agastya Muni. So, actually, a conversation between Lord Hayagriva and sage Agastya is Lalita Sahasranama. So it seems that sage Agastya, he asks Hayagriva that you have told me about the story of Lalita Devi. Now, Lalita Devi, how the birth of Lalita Devi took place, and mainly Lalita Devi is known for killing the demon Bhandasura, sorry. So, all these stories you have told me, but still, I want to know more about the goddess, Sage Agastya tells. And he tells that I want to know about the 1,000 names of the goddess. So, you did not tell me about that. So, Agastya says, have you forgotten about it, or you don't want to tell me how it is, right? Or is it that I'm not worthy enough to hear about it? So, Agastya has this doubt in his mind. He asks Hayagriva. That's when Hayagriva replies that I have not told you the Sahasranama of goddess Lalita, but it is not that I don't want to tell you or you're not worthy, nothing of that sort. It is because it is something which is rahasyam, topmost secret, and I cannot tell you openly. But because you have asked me out of bhakti, definitely I will narrate this to you. Now, this itself shows that something which was rahasyam, something which was of topmost secret. It was not directly narrated to sage Agastya also. He had to ask upfrontly. Only then Hayagriva agreed to do. Today, with the grace of the goddess, all of us have got an opportunity to learn about this. This itself has to be the grace of the goddess, and we must consider ourselves blessed, right? So, and this is how Hayagriva tells Agastya about the 1,000 names of the goddess, and he tells that there are many more names also, but out of that this set of 1,000 names is something which is considered to be the best and most pleasing to the goddess. So that's how it is actually set in, and that's how the Sahasranama has been made. Now, Lalita Sahasranama has been composed, it seems, by 8 Ashtavagdevis. Vagdevis are goddesses of speech. Who are those Vagdevis? Vasini, Kameshwari, Aruna, Vimala, Jaini, Modini, Kaulini, Sarveshwari. You can also note this down later, just for information I'm telling you. So, upon the command of goddess Lalita herself, these Ashtavag Devis, they end up composing this Lalita Sahasranama. And it seems that after composing all this, there were crores and crores of goddesses, Narayanas, Lakshmi, Brahma, everyone comes to worship the goddess, Lord of Shaktis, sages, everyone comes to worship Lord Lalita, gives them darshana. And goddess Lalita herself tells that these Ashtavagdevis have composed my Sahasranama as I have commanded them, and my divine names have been here, and as a prayer, all of them have recited. Please teach it to all bhaktas, please teach it to all my devotees. And a devotee who chants these 1,000 names, devotee who chants this Sahasranama, that devotee will be the blessed, or will be the most dear to me. I will fulfill all their desires. I'll grant them with the choicest of blessings and so on. But the chanting of these namas should be done with utmost bhakti. And of course, she further, Lalita Devi only says that one who is not able to do great pujas, japa, this and that, if that person chants his Lalita Sahasranama alone, the same phalam, the same phalashruti, the same merit will be obtained of doing my entire puja, japa, and so on. So this is the greatness of Lalita Sahasranama. And further, Hayagriva tells Agastya that this was told by the goddess, and from that time onwards, it is said that Lord Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, the various Shaktis, from then ever, they keep chanting Lalita Sahasranama, and as a reason, from that time onwards, the gods also keep chanting. All devotees also have started chanting the Lalita Sahasranama. And of course, there are Dhyana shlokas also. We will learn that later as we start. You will know about the Dhyana shlokas. There are different names of the goddess. Now, this is something about the Lalita Sahasranama, the glory of the Lalita Sahasranama. Further, there are the Uttara Bhagam, that is it, talks about the birth story, this and that of the goddess, the Purva Bhagam, sorry, the introductory part. Then you have the actual Sahasranama, the 1,000 names of the goddess. Further, you have the Uttara Bhagam, that is the Phalashruti part, wherein again Hayagriva tells that Anena Sadrisham Stotram Na Bhuto Na Bhavishyati, meaning a stotram like this was never there in the past, nor it will ever be there in future, which will be equal to the Lalita Sahasranamam. And that's why it is also called as Lalita Preetidayakam, one which is very much pleasing or that which pleases goddess Lalita, Mother Lalita, that is nothing but this Lalita Sahasranama. Now, it's not that we must chant the stotram only for knowing about his Palashruti, but yes, there are certain Palashrutis that are told for all stotras, so we should know about that also. So it bestows good health, prosperity, blessings, and so on. And it seems that the merit or the punya that is obtained by taking a bath in the Ganga, by doing Shivalinga Abhisheka, by taking a bath in a river, any holy river or so, or by doing a Shivalinga Pratishtha or so, or by doing some kind of dana dharmam, by doing some kind of public welfare activities like maybe digging wells, giving water to people, and so on. The merit or the punya that is obtained by doing all this, if you multiply that by a crore times, that is the amount of merit which we obtain by chanting the Lalita Sahasranama once. This I am not telling you. Hayagriva has updated this, has highlighted this to Agastya in the Uttara Bhagam, in the Phalashruti part. So therefore, sorry, so while doing this, and it is said that at least once in a lifetime, if a person chants Lalita Sahasranama, they will obtain all this merit, that too multiplied a crore times. And it seems that especially on auspicious occasions like one's own Janma Nakshatram, on a Navami, on a Purnami, on Fridays, on Tuesdays, on Chaturdashi, then during the Sankranti or the Sankramanam, that is when we have the new month that starts, new Hindu months that start in, irrespective of where you live, whether in Dakshina Bharatam, Uttara Bharatam, we have new months that started. On that days also you should chant the Lalita Sahasranama, very, very auspicious. And those who wish to, we can also chant the Lalita Sahasranama by doing the normal puja. What is the normal puja? Like, as usual, we light a lamp in the puja area every day. Then you chant the Lalita Sahasranama. Then you offer some Nevidyam. Nevidyam can be anything. Now, for the goddess, she likes Dadima Phalam, likes pomegranate fruit, or any kind of fruit can be offered. Some flowers can be offered. Then Dhupam Deepam, as usual, like we do any puja, show the Agarbatti, show the Arti, you conclude. So, a very simple puja that we do, like we do maybe our everyday pujas also. Similarly, for goddess Lalita also, you can do it, makes her very happy. And it seems that one who recites the Sahasranama, Vagdevi, goddess of speech, goddess Saraswati, resides on their tongue ever and ever. And one who chants the Sahasranama becomes one with Lalitambika herself. Nishkamah kirtayetyastu nama sahasram uttamam. It is said that one who chants the supreme Sahasranama without any desire, that is being selfish. I want this, so I am chanting. This should not be there. The goddess herself blesses that person with ultimate knowledge, ultimate jnanam that is there. So, therefore, this Sahasranama that we are going to learn and chant is something which is very, very auspicious. If today we are being able to chant, we should consider ourselves blessed. It is a blessing from the goddess only. Now, it's not that we are over exaggerating about this. You yourself can imagine and think deeply. If you wish, we can do anything, right? We can maybe why 7:30 to 8:10 I have to join in, or why okay some random message I got. Let me see. I don't have anything to do. About 150 of us. I don't have anything to do at this time. I'll just join in and do some time pass. It's not like that. Our minds can go anywhere if we want. Even at 7:30, even if we feel okay, I've joined the group. I want to wish in. Still, 1 second it takes, right, for our mind to be diverted and say, no, I don't wish to join in. Right? It can happen that way, but still, the goddess has put us all together to chant her divine names. So, therefore, we must all consider ourselves blessed. So, this is just a small introduction of Lalita Sahasranama. Let us proceed and now start learning.